bundled up from the neck down and, airing it out from the neck up. I just spent the last 45 minutes. I'm trying to articulate how I can share this with you because I wanted to talk about it and I'm going to do the best I can. I just spent the last 45 minutes listening to three women on a podcast, or it was a Instagram live. And they were basically just attacking, it was three women attacking other women in the health and fitness industry, the industry that obviously I pay a lot of attention to because not only for myself, but sharing it with my clients and people like yourselves. So anyway, it was just so interesting to me that, so many different points about, pointing fingers about this and, debunking myths about that. And there's a lot of truth to that. And I think the bottom line is if there was one way for all of us to be fit, eating right, living our lives, we'd all be doing it. There are certain principles, which I'll mention in my newsletter, certain principles we want to follow. But when we get into some of this nuance, some people want to say, oh, it's this way, and then they become leaders in the industry. And then they start selling supplements and this and that and the next thing, which makes you wonder, what's really going on here? Or is it that they understand this and, do they not have a right because they've done the research and are leaders in the industry to come up with something and develop a product and share it, for X amount of dollars. But I'm listening to this podcast and the thing I'm thinking about that I was reading about this week, I was reading this book that was talking about the amount of Americans that are overweight and obese. And the book was written just a couple years ago. And the number that the author cited on the percentage of individuals that were obese, I mean, it's almost tripled from a couple years ago. So I think that the number one, it just made me think, instead of spending time arguing on, do we need to do X, Y, and Z, which, there's individual things that, yes, we do, because we're all different. But why can't we just focus on, let's just get people moving? And, let's just, instead of saying, oh, you should do this or you shouldn't do this, because then we end up shoulding all over ourselves, right? But let's just start with, why can't we be complimentary? You went for a walk today? Awesome. You chose to have an apple after dinner instead of ice cream? Awesome. Now, it doesn't mean you're not allowed to have ice cream. It's great for you, but there's just such harsh judgment and nobody's got time for that, right? We're all stressed out to begin with. And then what happens is people get stressed out about how to do the thing that's supposed to de-stress them. So I really want to put, more fun. And they were talking about how exercise is boring. And yeah, most of the things, because it's compounds over time and that, but you could still make it fun. So I haven't really finished my thought. That's why I went out for a walk. I was like, oh, these women are crazy. There goes the peri and menopausal discussion, right? But I just think it was just such a negative take on things when, if we've got this many people in America that, are overweight and not doing well, tamping down on their methodologies or things they want to do, let's just start with the basics. Let's just start with walking and things like that. Now, if you're an Olympian, it's a different story. But the majority of people, let's just start moving and let's have fun. Grab a friend, go for a walk together. I've been seeing, this is cool, I've been seeing more people doing meetings like walk talks. Great. Do more of that. take a business call on your lunch, go, walk at lunch. Just start with something instead of, nitpicking every little thing. I think there's, if individuals want to get a program set up for themselves, great, you could do that. And it's a matter of what works for your body, because everybody's body doesn't work the same. So I was just so struck by that. And of course, I sat there and watched it for 45 minutes. But it's good for me to see the good and the bad. And the good is, and I fully believe in this, the good is, what's your intention? The intention for the majority of these women are, let's get people moving. Let's live well, and let's try and, just do a little bit better each day. And by, tearing somebody down, I think that's not the best way to live. So, all right, that's that. That's my rant in the park. And, like I said, just keep moving one step at a time, as I always say. All right, gang, I'm going to go do a couple steps at a time. And I hope you're having a great day. And here's a little spot of encouragement for you. Ding! I see you, I hear you, and I believe in you. See you next week.